Hi everyone, thank you guys so much for being here today. We're gonna be doing some color. Can you guess what kind? I think we're just gonna get straight into this. Hopefully this goes smoothly. We shall see. Let's do this. Okay, so my skin is prepped and ready for my base. I'll be using the Glowless by AURIC and some of the E.L.F Hydrating Camo Concealer. Most of the time I mix luminizers in with a concealer to kind of create my own foundation. I like to press my sponge into the remaining product on the back of my hand. That way I'm giving the sponge an even layer before blending it out onto my face. For concealer, I'm going to be using the ColourPop Pretty Fresh in Light 45W. I'll mainly be focusing this on the center of the face. With powder, same thing. I like to dip my sponge into the component and then dab it off on the back of my hand. That way I'm removing some of the product that's on the sponge so it doesn't apply super cakey, and I'm giving that same even layer. For bronzer and contour, I'm going to be using the ALAMAR Complexion Trio. Usually I mix both of the deeper shades together, but today I'm really just going to focus Soltera specifically for bronzing and then use Always Summer to just deepen up any contours of my face. I always come back to the Urban Decay Naked 2 brush for nose contouring because I think that the fluffier side is great for blending out any of those lines that you're putting down. And then if you want to add powder or give a bit more definition, then you can use the smaller side. See, it's so simple. I love this little thing. It's great. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. I'm gonna brighten up my under eyes a little with the lightest shade in that palette. I'm just gonna apply it with a sponge to get a bit more coverage. For highlight, I think I'm gonna go with this Wet n Wild one called Precious Petals. This is more of a rose gold tone. I think it might pair nicely with the blue tones. Where is my brush? I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Keep It Peachy blush because I want the skin to be pretty neutral. I don't want it to be like too colorful because that's what the eyes will hopefully do. There's this little bee outside my window and it keeps just like trying to come in here. I'm just going to clean up a little bit because I do feel like I got a little carried away. Alright, moving on to eyes. Let me zoom you in. For eyes today, I'll be using the E.L.F Bite Size Eyeshadow in Acai You. Like I see you, but acai. Actually, sorry, I'm a mess. Before I do any of that, I'm just gonna run a bit of the bronzer that I used to act as a bit of a transition. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with placing the darker shade in the palette along the inner and outer portion of my eyelid. I'll probably be going back and forth between brushes because I think this is gonna require quite a bit of blending. I'll be dipping into this shade right here for the center of my lid. And I'm just applying that with my finger. Ooh, that is just like such a pretty shade. Then blending it again. I feel like with this darker matte shade, when I'm blending it out, it's kind of losing the color. So it's kind of a bit difficult to build up that outer corner, but I think that's good for now. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, I'm gonna try to do a wing liner. I'm gonna use the NYX white eyeshadow base, and I'm gonna take quite a decent amount. And just make sure my brush is nicely coated. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's gonna stay. Now I'm gonna take the lighter shade in the E.L.F palette and begin to pack that on top of the white. I think that kind of worked, right? I don't know, it's good for me, whatever. I'm gonna take this purple and I'm gonna put that in the inner corner. That's pretty. Ooh, color. Okay, moving on to my lower lash line. I'm gonna take a bit of the same darker shadow and keep it very close to my lash line. I'm just adding a bit of a black eyeliner. Then I'm gonna curl my lashes and put some mascara on. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other eye off camera and then probably like do my brows and then I'll be back. So I finished off the rest of my eyes, so now I'm just gonna add some gloss to my lips. Alright, and this is the final look. I think it turned out really fun. I don't ever play around with these tones and I figured I would step out of my comfort zone. Yeah, I think I definitely look like Ursula and I'm personally okay with that. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please take care of yourselves and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye. I don't know what to say. What is this little thing doing? Like, can someone explain that to me? Oh, is this on the right setting? I look like a blueberry.